Can I just do a soundbite that's like, Tonic and Gin is out right now. Stream my new song, Tonic and Gin, on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you stream music. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Can I just please? I mean, I said it.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Unstarving Musician. It's episode 350. Wow, I just realized that. I'm Rabanzo. This is my podcast. How are you? You holding it together? It's crazy times. I don't like it. I'm worried, and while I hope you are worried with me, I mostly hope you're happy and healthy. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. I'm actually doing pretty darn good. Started celebrating another trip around the sun, and will be doing it on the official day this coming weekend with family in Monterrey, with a double R's in Monterrey, Mexico. It's a little like Houston, and it's supposed to be hot, but I'm looking forward to it. I have a couple of shows here in my hometown of Querétaro, just around the corner. Me and the boys of Rabanzo will be blasting some B-side rock and a couple of my songs at Moser Cafe Culture on May 15 and Kadakai Sound Studio on May 22nd. In fact, we'll be performing New Gods Part 2 live for the first time ever at these two shows. And I gotta say that the lyrics seem as relevant today as they did when I recorded them in 2021. I wrote a little note about this on my new Substack. You can hear New Gods Part 2 and get details about my upcoming shows at rabanzo.com. Some music industry things I want to share with you. Did you know the Rolling Stones just released another album? Incredible. I think it dropped today as I'm recording this. And did you see Paul McCartney perform Let It Be with the Eagles? I saw it on YouTube. Unprecedented. Have you ever heard the interview with Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top on WTF with Mark Maron from 2014? Memorable. It's episode 506 and available, 506 of WTF with Mark Maron, and you can find it on your podcast app of choice. I actually found it on YouTube, but I'm not sure the podcast officially lives on YouTube, but someone posted it there. And then lastly, in music industry stuff, I just recently learned that Ilan Rubin plays drums on the latest Foo Fighters album. That strikes me as an amazing match. He is truly one of my favorite drummers. And that Taylor Hawkins, who I had the pleasure of seeing with Foo Fighters once, man, that's a hard act to follow even if you're Ilan Rubin. Wow. A quick announcement, Liner Notes has moved to Substack, as I mentioned moments ago. Liner Notes delivers insights from 300 plus conversations with working artists who've figured out how to make a sustainable living from their creativity, right to your inbox, all for free. Learn more at unstarvingmusician.com/liner notes. My guest in this episode, who you heard speaking silly in a silly tone at the beginning of this recording, is Cory Wade. He just dropped a new single called Tonic and Gin, which he alluded to in his whimsical rant. It's available on all streaming platforms and at CoryWadeOfficial.com. Most musicians treat wedding and corporate gig work as the thing you do while you're waiting for your real career to happen. It's the side hustle with a slightly embarrassing asterisk. But what if that framing is completely backwards? Cory has been a vocalist and band leader at Hank Lane Music in New York for 8 years. He's built a sustainable income through high-end event entertainment, the kind that pays real money, builds real skills, and creates a real creative calendar. And he's used that income to fund his home studio and his original music on his own terms. In this conversation, Cory breaks down how the Hank Lane model actually works from the inside. The compensation structure, what it takes to get in and stay in, and how the seasonal nature of the work creates space for original music that most artists don't have. He also talks about why he's stopped thinking of event work as a compromise and what it means to find genuine artistic satisfaction in being the backdrop rather than the main event. Here's me talking with singer, songwriter, entertainer, Cory Wade.
I was rushing it. I wasn't ready. I thought I was. And then there were just like I'm a Virgo perfectionist, and I had, I had second thoughts like right at the finish line and just reworked some things. And like, not even just with the song itself, like with the whole rollout. I was like, I'm not doing this with enough thought. So I just took a beat, and now I'm feeling a lot more confident.
Always a learning process. Everything's always changing too with rollouts for music.
It's like impossible to, there's no one right way to do it, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's impossible to feel like 100% confident and resolute in the decisions you've made.
Yeah.
And that on top of the fact that like I haven't done this in so long, released original music in like years and years and years and years. So it's like blah, it's like jumping off of the edge of a cliff again for the first time in a long time.
Are you like rolling up on like 9 years or 8 years since you released a new record?
Thank God, probably something like that. I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, like 2017 or 2018, right? Something like
That's
that.
that sounds right.
You're like that, ignoring it.
I
Yeah,
don't even know. I don't even know. I think it's in the press kit that I sent you. But
probably. Yeah. Well, I was just looking at your releases because I was looking for
oh
a new
yeah.
single, but yeah, I think it
No.
was around 2017, 2018, but I could be wrong. So, are you based in New York?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Mm. Was that deliberate or just by life circumstance, or was it kind of a career choice that you were there?
I think both. I don't know if I thought that I would have ended up here for as long as I've been here, but it's, you know, it 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 started off as a choice. So let's just say I chose it. I chose it and then I like went with the universe
I'm sure
and
it's
it kept me
amazing.
here. It is. Where are you?
Querétaro, Mexico.
Oh, sick. That's awesome. I love Mexico. I love the beaches. I'm a Tulum frequent, and a
Oh,
Playa
nice.
del Carmen frequent.
Nice, yeah. We,
But
my wife and I have not been in that area in many years, but we're Querétaro is actually in like a what do you call it, high desert area, about the same elevation as Mexico City. We're supposed to have a somewhat high-speed train from the Querétaro airport to
whoa,
Mexico City in the not too distant future, so that will be sweet. It'll be like a, I don't
that's
know, like a
amazing.
90-minute ride or something, which will be nice.
Oh my God. All signs are pointing towards Mexico is the place to be. Like, it's finally starting to warm up over here on the East Coast in the US, but yeah. Um, like during the winter, oh my gosh, you bet Mexico has us beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of moving to Mexico, how's your heart and sense of empathy sitting with the current events these days?
Oh my God. What a question. Wait, are we like we're not like live right now because that's like a heavy
Well, it's a
our
podcast. We're not live
well,
anyway,
we're
but
not
I'm
live
just
period. We're not live
we're
period.
we're just
But like
we're just ice breaking.
we're ice breaking and everything's, everything's on the table. Okay. Yeah, in order to like maintain my composure, I'm kind of like steeping myself in my work, keeping my head down. But I'm telling you, like this a lot of what's happening in the world today hits closer to home than you might even realize. I used to work in DEI. I literally did college tours and also did training courses for brands and businesses, and I'm a LinkedIn learning instructor for LGBTQIA plus inclusivity in the workplace.
Hmm.
And that work has kind of like evaporated. Um, Thankfully, my work in event entertainment has always been a steady, like a constant that I can always go back to and rely on because everything that I thought my career was becoming kind of like blew up when this current administration came into power and DEI became this like controversial buzzword and people just weren't like investing in it as much and the opportunities kind of just like dried up. I feel like I'm living in the twilight zone and yeah, to center the focus like on the political stage, to deflect and center on like a group of people, a marginalized group that is like less than 1% of the population, and make that like this rah-rah movement that they're trying to galvanize Republicans to get behind. It's just really sickening to me, because I know a lot of trans people and they're just like you and me. They're just trying to go through their day-to-day lives. Like they're just trying to go to the grocery store, like make ends meet. Like they're not trying to, you know, hurt or harm in any way whatsoever. And honestly, I'm sorry for the tangent, but you brought it up. I'm like, use as much as this is of this as you want. You really don't have to. I know it's not the theme of your podcast or whatever, but like, can we name a trans person who actually lives up to the demonization that they put on the trans community at large? Can we actually name one? Because I can't. Like, who is it? Is it Laverne Cox? Like, who is it? I'm
I don't
sorry.
know. I don't know that person, but I don't know. I can't. I
No one can. No one can. They can't. So that's why I'm just kind of like fed up with it all. And yeah, keeping my head down, immersing myself in my work. And honestly, music is like saving my life through this whole mess. As I'm sure it is for a lot of queer musicians out there. So there's the through line. I brought it back.
Good one. No, I didn't assume anything, but I figured because of that line of your work, you're speaking. I'm like, well, that must have gotten disrupted, and
Yo.
I have so I haven't have a lot of LGBT or queer people on the podcast, but I've had a few, and
Hmm.
there's one that I haven't checked in with her lately, but I'd follow a lot on Instagram, and she's Canadian, and I know she was uh, really hurting a lot at the beginning of all
Mm.
this, and it just I figured, she's probably a pretty good mirror of a general sentiment. So I was just kind of
Hmm.
curious, but yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the fact that you've even conversed with a trans person is like leaps and bounds beyond in terms of experience what these people who are demonizing trans people have under their belt, you know?
Or
And I'm
yeah,
not trans myself. Right now you're just talking to a queer individual. But yeah, my heart goes out to like everyone who's been afflicted by the current administration and the current direction we've been barreling down.
yeah, sure. We've been out of the country since 2016, and
Congrats.
as odd as it is to say, I think we both kind of had the sentiment, but I had it a little more than some. I felt a very confusing shift in society and politics
Yeah.
going on in 2016,
Mm.
and that was before the orange monster got elected, and so we left.
Yeah. You know what? Good for you. Kudos. And my response to that was to educate. I
Sure.
really was like building that career with intention, because I kind of felt the same thing that you described.
All right, yeah, enough of the weirdness. I'm going to shift gears completely, but how did your experience on America's Next Top Model shape how you think about your music career, if at all? I assume it did, but
Oh yeah, it totally did. More than that, it shaped how most people who know who I am view me. And that made it hard to kind of like define myself as a musician. I mean, I didn't find it hard to do that like personally because I was still making most of my money off of music, off of performing for live events. And that was kind of a mind expletive. You know what I mean?
hmm
Like
hmm
it really threw me for a loop because like I had been surviving for so long off of this thing that like was just so innate to me. But America's Next Top Model has a way of really compartmentalizing people's human experiences into like one note. And I was the representative LGBTQIA plus person on the show. So that became my whole identity and persona. People didn't really know that I even did music. I do mention it on the show, just like talking casually. I think there's like another model who was asking me, "Oh, what do you do outside of modeling?" And I had mentioned my work in entertainment because even back then I was with a event company. I was with EBE Events and Entertainment in Philadelphia
Okay.
at the time of filming, and I threw them for a loop and like really really upset them when I left to go do the filming for the show. I remember because like I was under contract to do um a whole season of gigs, but I was like, "Oh, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity." And I was 22 and I just kind of like uprooted my whole life and I was like, "Yeah, I'll be a supermodel." I just knew I know oh, I had this idea that in order to have a sustainable career, I needed eyeballs on me in some capacity. Um
Doesn't
it
hurt, right?
yeah, yeah. You know, I just I think at that point in my life I was gunning for something different. I was like going for like superstar Beyonce status, like fame in music
hmm
or
hmm
in arts and entertainment, whatever. And what I found over the years is that you can actually have a sustainable career, a fulfilling career without all of the like hype around who you are. Um, and that I think is like the best kept secret of the music industry.
Yeah, and there's a lot of baggage that comes with the other way of doing it. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's and no one's impervious to weird changes like we were talking about earlier. So
Yeah.
it sounds like you kind of, whether by design or accident, distributed your career across a couple of different things, and I'm sure that's helped a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I like to say, even when I was like younger, like, in my 20s, I've always had a better idea of who I was than others have had of me. And I think that's true for everybody. Like, your relationship with yourself is the most intimate you'll ever know. So I think it's like really important to stay the course and to like keep your passions alive and stay true to yourself, as corny as it sounds. And not kind of like succumb or fall prey to what the world is putting on you. And when you make a big career move or a big public move, like going on a show like America's Next Top Model, that's exactly what you're doing. You're kind of like subjecting yourself to being perceived in one light. So it was kind of like I don't want to say a fight because I never really strayed away from just being my musical self, but it was kind of like I don't know, like a frustration, just just knowing that like most people who know who I am didn't really get a sense of who I was through watching the thing that they discovered who I was from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can imagine. And it's kind of good advice that you threw in there. And I don't think everybody is quite that centered with themselves and about who they think they are and everything. So, but anyway,
Hmm.
yeah, it's very insightful of you. So, and the other thing I was going to ask about, just sort of casual things somewhat, but I've done some wedding gigs, never through, well, maybe accidentally through an event company, but not like you've been pretty focused on that clearly,
Hmm.
having mentioned the second one. But I know, for some people, especially like yourself, who does it and as much as you probably have, that they're viewed as like, musicians' day jobs that they don't necessarily talk about with a lot of pride or anything. Do
Right.
you embrace it, or you like total peace with it? You seem like you talk about it pretty
Yeah.
openly and regularly, no big deal, right?
Yeah, I'm so like unapologetic about it, and I think everyone should be. First of all, I'm working in New York, okay? This is the most competitive city for musicians. I mean, maybe not. I don't know if there are others, but for entertainers, for people who work in the arts, it's pretty competitive out here.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm even able to like pay my rent off of music is a win. I just want to encourage everybody who's out in the field of like live event entertainment, whether you're doing a wedding or a corporate function or whatever, like you are winning. Like it's incredible. The athleticism that it takes, the work ethic that it takes, it's not to be slept on. So yeah, I do think it's amazing what we do. Not everybody can do it. Even the most prolific artists out there or the musicians that a lot of people in that line of work strive to become can't do it. Like, don't have the stamina, don't have the wherewithal. So, yeah, I do look at it positively, and I think entertainers in event entertainment who have a negative outlook on that line of work are often like toxic energies to be around, and they can really sort of like suck the fun and positive vibes out of the whole thing for everyone. So I try to avoid those people, just like I do in like real life, like outside of work. Yeah, it's not the way to be. Like to kind of like look down on what you're doing is counterintuitive to your
Yeah, I mean,
success.
yeah, I'm certainly only if and only you just are not having fun with it or something, which is clearly not the case. And I
Hmm.
suspect that most people that listen to this podcast are like, "Oh no, that would be totally cool talking about regular income." Talk,
Okay.
yeah. So
Yes, in this economy, I mean, a lot of people just take it for granted past a certain point, and it's so sad to see. Like, I have been right up on stage with people next to me who I've seen sort of like a shift take place within them, and they don't appreciate what they have. And I've also seen people either get fired or like move on from the job because of that toxic energy that was like brewing within them. And then I see them like out in the world just like not performing at all. Like they'll be doing their original stuff or whatever, but I'm not seeing them like actually earning anything or working. And that's the worst, you know, because the
Hmm.
grass is always greener and then like you get yourself out of it and you're like, "Oh wait, that I had it so good. I didn't realize how good I had it and now it's gone."
Well, it's not for everyone for sure. I mean, I've
Sure.
done live music like all my life, and I mean, I can think about mistakes I've made, not intentionally, but you know, especially now, there's so many great musicians. You know, you really have to be thinking all the time about how you're going to make things better for the band or the venue, the booking
Hmm.
place, or whoever you're doing your thing for, because there's always somebody that's doing it top notch, and sometimes just
Yeah.
one little mistake, one little slip, and that's it. You got to
You're
go
so
find another
right.
gig, you know?
And that's wild. Yeah. No, but that also speaks to the wherewithal it takes, the consistency it takes, the athleticism, you know, as a
Mm,
vocalist. It's like
mm.
the upkeep that it takes. It's ridiculous, you know.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially at high levels. So Hank Lane, the entertainment company that you're working with and have worked with most recently,
Hmm.
walk me through how the setup works from a working musician's perspective, and how did you get in? What does it actually take to stay in?
Sure. Okay, so I started with Hank Lane music in 2018. So I've been with the company for a whole 8 years. And before sitting down to do this interview with you, I had to actually look at my LinkedIn bio to make sure, because I couldn't believe it was actually so long ago that I started. Um, and Hank Lane is basically a high-end agency system for weddings and corporate events. So they keep a roster of musicians they trust to deliver at a really high level. And so as a musician in the company, it's not just about being talented. You also have to be like prepared. You have to do your homework. You have to be stylistically flexible, visually polished, of course, and honestly, just like easy to work with. And I was at a point, having just come off of Top Model. I was like pursuing a career in fashion, and I was getting work. I'd gotten signed to an agency and I was doing Fashion Week runway shows and like whatever, but the money wasn't what I thought it would be. And when I talked to other models I was working closely with, they were like, "Oh no, yeah, that's it. That's what we make." And it was kind of sad. So I was like, "Oh, what did I used to survive off of?" And I harked back to my days in Philly and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I think I'm gonna get with another event company. I think I'm gonna sing at weddings again." And I found Hank Lane, as they are like the most prolific entertainment company for like weddings and corporate events in the New York area, and they've been around for forever. And their reputation, it was just like all of these signals towards I need to affiliate myself with these people. And I went into the audition because they did like a backstage.com, just I guess cattle call audition.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't even tell them anything about the top model fanfare. I didn't want that to be what they were perceiving me as when I went in. I just sang. And the fact that they responded so positively to me going in without attaching the top model brand to who I was, because that's how I was going into a lot of rooms, because I was like, oh, like, I don't know. I was like, I'm going to use this to get where I need to be. But it doesn't really relate to music. It doesn't really what am I looking for? Oh, translate to like the entertainment industry.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, the music industry. So after that like positive audition, I just like started building like really strong relationships within the company. I revealed to them later that I was like top model guy, and they were like, "Oh my gosh," they loved that even more, the fact that I like kept that, and I don't know, I just met really, really good people within it. Like I would say getting into the world of Hank Lane, it usually happens through like a referral, somebody vouching for you. But in the rare circumstance that, they actually put themselves out there and have like a cattle call like that, I would say just like showing up, being prepared, and just doing what you do, that's the way to get in. And then I think staying in really comes down to consistency and the relationships you've built. And I think I've kept work with them by being like low drama, being anal retentive and over prepared, and being reliable. So I would say, yeah, at a certain point, like talent gets you in the room, but trust is what keeps you there.
Yep, that's good. No surprise there, but
Right.
so what does a typical month look like in terms of gigs and how consistent is the income?
Well, it's obviously different every year. Um, but gig wise, right now, I'm doing anywhere between 4 and 8 a month
That's
in
a lot.
like yeah, it is a lot. And in the busy season. Um and I've done even more than that. I had one where we had 12 gigs in a month, which was insane. And the wear and tear on my body after that month. Whew. But it's always different. I mean, you asked something else in there too.
Oh, just like how consistent it is. It sounds like it's a little
Yeah.
cyclical. There's a seasonal thing, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the off season right now. It extends from, well, it actually just ended. It extends from January to April. I think if you're somebody who does original music, that would be your time to really like bite in. I kind of like that break is built, and it's kind of like being a teacher in a way. It's like off season, it's like school's out for summer, whatever. But nobody's really trying to like throw an event right after New Year's Eve. So
hmm
January is always going to be dead. February, I think you have the potential to do some stuff here and there. I did have one in March, but April is when it picks up for me again.
that's cool. How do you think about the difference between being a session or event musician versus building your own artist identity? Is there like some tension, or have you found a way that works specifically for you to make them work together?
I mean, I absolutely have to make them work together. There's no question. But I would say because I had an aha moment about this recently because I just started, doing the original music thing again after so long. And one thing that I realized that I just didn't expect um was this like new love I developed, and I'm speaking with it. Like it's been at the forefront of everything I've been saying so far. But like I love doing event entertainment so much because, like, contrary to the original music projects, live entertainment doesn't feel as self-indulgent.
I could see
Does
that.
that make sense? Yeah, like I feel like you have to be so obsessed with yourself and you have to be like, look at me, like constantly in order to get people to listen to your music. And the live entertainment thing, it's like I don't know. It's like the fact that somebody thinks that you're great enough to emulate the music that they just dance to around the house on a daily or whatever is pretty powerful. And it's not about you. It's like you're literally providing a service. It makes my instrument, my gift, my talent feel more valuable in that moment. I mean, I guess unless like you reach that point in your career as an original artist where you've like I don't know, you've written like a great American classic or a song that like really moved people, a song that was like a cultural moment or movement. But like, if I'm being honest, I haven't done that yet with my original music. I had a song on a soap opera once. Like that was cool. It was garnering money for me. That was cool. But I wasn't like changing the world or like making people feel in the way that I know that I do when I'm on a live stage, just like providing the vibe for a party, you know?
Yeah.
I'm starting to like build this relationship or like find this new facet of a relationship I already had with music that is like embracing being the backdrop for an already like for a special moment in life or the soundtrack to somebody's day to day or just like something it's like the unsung hero of a scene of actual life music, you know? And
hmm
that's become I mean it's starting to influence how I write too, to be honest with you, because I'm like I want to create that vibe, that like unsung hero vibe that it's like lifting the mood and vibe, but it doesn't command your immediate attention. It's not like stop everything. It's not like look at me. It's like, oh, this is making me feel good, you know?
Sounds like a formula for some good pop.
Oh, it's good, good pop. It is fun. There's heartfelt lyrical content in the work that I'm doing now, but I also think that you don't have to like stop what you're doing and like pay close attention in order to enjoy the music. And yeah, I don't
What do you think?
know.
What do you think most musicians get wrong when they try to break into the high-end event space?
the events out being so overly obsessed with themselves. Like it really isn't about you, you know? I've worked with so many like, as I'm sure you have too, it's just like really intense egos. Um, people people expect to get that from me, and then they're always so surprised when I'm not that way. I think it's like my personality or like the way that I come across because of the whole top model mess. Like people expect this like vain, vapid look at me performer when I get out there, but I'm serious. Like I just enjoy like creating vibes for others to enjoy themselves. Like that is the most rewarding. And I think people, yeah, they get it wrong when they're looking for their Beyonce moment. They're looking for their look at me moment. And it's like, I don't know. I just feel like you can have that and you can experience that and that's great, but that shouldn't be the reason you do it. Like it should be a service. Like even if you're doing original music, I think it would be beautiful if I don't know, more valuable, more meaningful if somebody was approaching their original project with the intention of like making others feel and not like just garnering attention and like I don't know, showing off, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I've been thinking about this um, covers project I'm involved in. So I've been a drummer most of my life, and I've always sang, kinda, but in the past few years I've really gotten into singing, and I'm trying to be good at it as best, trying to be the best that I can, and
Hmm.
doing the work as best I can. And so I'm fronting a band now, and it's a very self-indulgent
Hmm.
repertoire of things that inspired me. But I think there's a lot of great. I know that that's the type of thing that's going to keep you from getting a lot of types of gigs. The type of thing that I'm doing, but
Mm.
I think there's a lot of good advice wrapped in there, even for someone who is doing something like I am, or whether it's an original thing or just something very self-indulgent, or they
Yeah.
want to be in something where they need to let that go. And
Mm.
but the part I really liked was, you can be well, this is what I wrote down. It's not exactly how you said it, but like you can be the focus, but it has to be about more than that. It has to be about your
Yes.
audience. So
Yeah. Because it's not like don't celebrate yourself. That's not what I'm saying at all. Like I mean, I think musician is the closest thing we have in real life to magician, and it's just incredible. I just love artists. I love musicians. And like, yes, celebrate yourself. Yes, go off. Because you are truly extraordinary for the fact that you can do what you do, you know? But I think people take it too far. And I don't even think they realize. I think it's built into what we are trained to believe we have to do in order to be successful in it, which is constantly like be jumping up and down. Like, look at me, like post every day, like constantly try to shift the attention onto what you're doing and who you are. And it's like I'm preparing all of the content for the rollout for the original project because I'm gonna start posting that on the 14th. And like like I'm trying so hard to make it like genuine and to like have fun with it and be silly. You know what I'm saying though? Because I'm like, this feels like I feel like I'm just like begging people, desperate for them to just pay attention to me, and that feels like it feels like when you're like a little kid and you're like performing for your mom in the living room or something. It's like sad. It's like get over it, grow up. Like there's bigger things going on. People are like dying. I mean, we started the top of this conversation with some like really heavy stuff. If your music isn't doing anything to address that stuff in the world, I don't think it's like the cure to cancer that you think it is. I mean, not you specifically, but I'm just talking about like just a lot of musicians that I'm noticing who are just like overtly obsessed with what they're doing. It's like, ugh. But it's both. It's both. Like, you got to be obsessed with what you're doing. You got to love on you. So, I don't know. It's therapy for a lot of artists, I think, too. So,
totally. And
I don't know.
it's all good. It's all marketing that you have to do to help people find you so
Yeah.
that your stuff can be heard, because otherwise you're just playing it in your bedroom or something, or your home studio, you know.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was there a specific threshold, like um, income, savings, studio capacity, where you felt like the original music was genuinely supported rather than just surviving alongside your event work?
Yeah. I think it was I think that took place when I actually took up like a leadership mantle in my company because for so long, for years, I had just been a vocalist and you don't really earn as much doing that. But when you take the responsibility on of like actually meeting with clients and getting the repertoire together and directing the band. It's a whole other animal. Like you're working harder and I'm tired, but I'm able to fund my original music endeavors. And being that I am now in year 3 of doing that, I said, you know what, this is the perfect off season to like get back into doing original music, you know? So yeah, it just took some like getting my finances in order. It's really, really hard at the start in event entertainment because like at entry level, you're gonna make something like $300 for a gig, especially if you don't have experience with another company. If you have experience with like another event company, you can go into one that's new to you, maybe asking for like 500 to 700 because people with experience in this line of work are coveted because it takes a lot, like I said. And then you can ask for raises annually or biannually, and that's what I did. And my rate increased and increased and increased. And then when I graduated to the level of trust, because like I said, trust is so important to this whole thing, I was trusted with a band, and the rate for that is considerably higher. So I was able to start doing original music just because of that.
So this is a question coming from someone who really doesn't understand the high-end entertainment business model of like Hank Lane.
Yeah.
Did you went in, and is this common? You went in as an individual, and then you began to connect with bands, and then a band. Is that kind of what happened over time?
Yes.
Okay.
The band that I auditioned for initially,
And wait, this is like within the Hank Lane
yeah.
ecosystem? Okay.
Yeah, so you audition for Hank Lane proper, and the only reason they're holding auditions is because there's a spot open in a band or multiple bands. You know what I'm saying? So the contracting manager will place you where you're needed. When you are still like an employee of the company, right? But the band that I found myself in, it just so happened that the leader of that band was one of like the part owners of the company, and he's just like this incredible, not just musician, but also just like a mentor to me. His name's Michael, and he, after so many years, decided it was time for him to part with that line of work, and he left, and that left an open space for leadership. Thankfully, I was the candidate he trusts the most to do it.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so yeah, it was really great.
What's an interesting business model? I mean, just looking at their website, it looks complex, but yeah, these little things are, yeah, these little things are things I never would have known without our conversation. And I know I've talked to at least one artist that's been a few years who has done this type of work. What does the financial model look like? Are you on a kind of a strict budget, or is it more intuitive because like of the seasonality, or you mentioned getting your finances in order?
Yeah, as a leader, I do have a set rate. The band itself has different variations, different pieces. Like we'll go anywhere from like a 6-piece to a 15-piece band. So the pricing varies, and it's always circumstantial.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you just got to be on top of it.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. I mean, I think, there's power, I think, in just, I just want to impart that like you are empowered to go ask for what you think you deserve and what you want to make. I think in any company, like it's a set rate for me now because I'm in a leadership role, but when you come in and you start, like it's not set, like it's kind of gray. Like you can talk to them about what you want to earn based on your experience, and you might get it. So it's kind of like, it's just important to kind of like stick up for yourself. And I don't know, there are a lot of companies out there that don't respect their employees as much as Hank Lane does. Like they'll always hear you out. They've always been really, really good to me. Like I can't think of like a negative experience I've had.
That's great.
Yeah.
So cool. And earlier you said 8 years. Was that in the business of this type of entertainment work, or was that with Hank Lane?
So 8 years ago I started with Hank Lane, but prior to that, there was like I took I guess like a sabbatical or a break from live event entertainment because I thought I was going to be supermodel of the world, so I had to see that out. And I ended up like modeling and bartending. So when I found myself in the bar, I was like, oh no, I need to go back to what I survived off of because I had it good. I had the moment like where I realized I had it better than I realized. Um, the moment that I described earlier on in our interview, like when I was in Philly, when I was much younger, because I'd started in this line of work at 22, and I'm 35 years old now. At 22, I took it for granted. I genuinely thought nothing of it. I was like, oh, this is what I'm doing now. Um, but it's just a stepping stone, and I'm gonna be, supermodel, superstar of the world one day. So I won't take it that seriously. Um, but like, no, because like when I got back into the real world, like when I was like, when I had left EBE in Philly, I realized quickly, I was like, oh wait, there's no job that I love more than music. And these jobs are rare and they're precious and they're hard to come by. Yeah, I want to be in allegiance with the best of the best, the people that are doing this stuff, who have the stamina to do this. Like I had a lot of pride in it and I didn't even realize it and it was gone. So I had to start from scratch and go to an open casting call. And yeah, that I consciously, like I deliberately said, you know what, I'm not doing this top model mess. I'm literally just going to go in as me and prove to myself and to them that like I'm good on my own, like that I'm a good enough musician to do this. And it was like the crowning moment and set the trajectory for everything that I've built in Hank Lane music to this point.
Wow. Well, you mentioned your age then and now, and you were trying things at the right time,
Yeah, you're
and then
right.
you had the wherewithal to realize that the other thing was a good thing, and you would get back in it however you could. I think a lot of us don't always do that.
Yeah, I wish people would, because like, and honestly, like those are the people, like I thankfully have built a band around me of people who all have that attitude. And it's the best. Like it's such a vibe. And it makes the party better. The music is better because we're like having fun with it. We're not beholden to what's on the record ever. We're always bringing ourselves to the music. And it's a joy. Like it's true joy and creativity and in the moment spontaneity, and it's like a live wire. So yeah, I'm so happy with what I found.
That's cool. So let's shift gears again. Walk me through how your studio came together. What were some of the first purchases you made, and how did you decide to prioritize?
Okay. Well, I had to start with the DAW, of course, the digital audio workstation, because you can't do anything without it. And obviously that's like one of the biggest costs because it's ongoing. My older brother also works in music production, and I remember like watching him in his studio setup when I was younger using Pro Tools, and that was like my start with kind of like recording, just like watching him in process, and he would teach me little things here and there. So I already knew a little bit of Pro Tools, so I was like, that's the one I'm going for. So it's like $300 annually. And I got that before I was, making the money that I'm making now. So that was like, yeah, like that was a bill. Okay. And then, I was trying to prioritize my voice next because I'm a singer and I wanted to be able to capture that adequately. So I went for the Aston Spirit condenser mic. That was $200 at the time. And I wanted to be able to build music around me. I do play guitar, but I just love synthetic sound. I love synthetic production. I always have. So I went for the JDXI synthesizer. Well, I still use to this day, and it has a built-in vocoder, and it's so cool. And that was 750. I think after that, it became making sure the sound I was capturing was quality, like making sure I was canceling noise effectively. So I had to build a sound booth because we actually have quite high ceilings in the condo me and my husband live in.
Hmm.
So now there's like this, it's like this sound booth. I wish I could tell you the name of the provider, but it was like on Etsy. Like somebody was like handcrafting these like beautiful portable sound booths, and it truly is beautiful. Like the outside of it looks like this wooden, crosshatch pattern. And like my husband, like anything that I'm gonna get that's like big and obnoxious, he's like, it's gotta look cute. You can't, yeah, like you can't like ugly up our house for this. Like I love your music, but we're not doing that. So also just getting like really cool LED like purple lights to make my vibe like, palatable for him. So yeah, I think that's like the basics of what I've done. And then I've also I've invested quite a bit in like plugins because the DAW itself, it's not going to come equipped with what you need to create truly professional sound. So like the CLA plugin is one that I swear by, especially for vocalists, and an RX noise canceller because of, again, my situation. I think like every home studio is gonna be different, and it's you're just gonna have to like feel out your room and the sound that your mic will get just in the room alone raw, and then from there decide what you need to like hone in and turn it into something usable. Also, oh, speakers. Oh my gosh, the speakers were like hella expensive too. You know what I mean? Because this stuff added up.
I know those are expensive. I've heard. I have done a little bit of recording, but I worked
Yeah.
with a sound engineer who has a complete setup for decades that he's always building
Whew.
upon, and so he had necessary monitors. I just did stuff in headphones, and then would give it to him, and he was complimentary of my engineering because I was recording live drums and vocals.
Mm-hmm.
But
That was another $700. Well, $800 actually for the pair is what I spent on those. Yeah, and they're the Yamaha HS8 8-inch monitors.
it adds up, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's still adding up because then it becomes like a collector's hobby, you know? And there's also, I didn't even mention stuff that I bought that didn't work out for me. Like, yeah, there's a lot of, there was a lot of trial and error. Because I would try to cut corners and save money. So I would buy like a really cheap thing that didn't end up working for me. Like the Audio Technica condenser microphones or the Scarlett Focusrite. Like I had headphones that were crappy, and that wasn't working for me either. So yeah, it's an ongoing process of trial and error, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I my first, and I still have it. I have a Scarlett Focusrite multi-channel thing for recording a drum set.
Yeah.
I got kind of a large one, but I for my application it was great. I could do it again and again,
Good.
but I've learned just from talking to different people, and also when I was complaining about my preamp, it has some limitations.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
Right.
it's a
I'm
great.
using the yeah, no, they're okay. Like whatever. I call it the little engine that could.
Sure,
My
it's a great starter piece of gear, it
Yeah.
really is. And if you're like, I mean, if you're recording demos, fantastic. If you're trying to
Yeah,
do full
sure.
production, you gotta
Hmm.
buy. What do you use?
Right now, I'm using the Pro Tools Quartet,
Okay.
and they've discontinued them. They don't even make them anymore. But I had a friend who was like graduated, who was like getting rid of old gear and like upgrading his own, and he gave me a good deal on it. I
Nice.
only paid him 500, but he spent like almost 2 grand for the thing. It's like really state of the art. Like I don't know why
Nice.
they discontinued them because like I swear by this thing. I love it so much.
What's the studio actually enabling for you now that you couldn't do before? It seems like an obvious answer, but I'd love to hear it out of your own words.
Well, the biggest thing is clean sound, like for my vocals, because even if I'm not the one producing a track, there's a lot of original music that I do with like remote collaboration applied. And as long as I can get a clean sound vocally, I feel like I'm golden, I'm good. Because like there's a lot of like beat sampling or whatever. Like you can do a lot with a little when it comes to the instrumentation and the production. But when it comes to like your raw talent, like your you-ness of it all, you need to be able to capture that cleanly. So that has been the biggest thing for me. And the whole sole reason that I thought I was ready enough to do an original album and, embark down the original music journey again.
Well, all right. Let's land the plane, as Tim Ferriss popularly says. We'll talk some
Okay,
final questions. But so
cool.
is the Hank Lane model or something like it accessible to musicians outside New York? And what would
Yeah.
need to be true for it to work in smaller markets?
Oh, I mean, there's a version of a Hank Lane in just about every metropolitan city in the US, and I would assume in other places around the world too. The first thing that I look at every time my husband and I consider moving somewhere is if there is a company like that, and sure enough, every time I've looked when we've considered it, there has been something just like this. I think that we really did touch on the psychology behind it for a lot of musicians. And that was one thing in this interview that I really wanted to like give some clarity on because I think that a lot of the stigma, because it is a stigma that musicians have around doing live event entertainment is so unnecessary, so counterintuitive. It's just there to like get in your way and it's a lie, you know? I think that like working, surviving, it's respectable, it's commendable. Not everybody can do it. And I think we need to like give ourselves a little bit more grace, especially in this like new age of AI and music. Like this is something raw and real that can never be replaced because the connection that you experience in a live setting like this at a party when you see a human being producing this sound, it creates this energetic tether, undeniable. And it tells people, oh my gosh, a human being is doing that. That means I could too, in some, version, like there's some version of myself could do that as well. And that's incredible. That's inspiring. So yeah, I think a lot of people need to look at this differently than they have been. And I'm always going to be affiliated in events and entertainment in some capacity, even when I'm too old to get up on the stage and, dance my booty off and sing for 4 hours straight through a night.
I was going to ask you if you ever think about, I don't know why the thought came in my head. It's probably because I'm older, but I was like, okay, you're still young, still moving good, still pretty, all that stuff. So do you ever think about like, well, what about when I get older?
I do. There are people who do. I mean, I'm telling you right now, like the thing that I thought of when I considered getting older was DEI and public speaking and doing more LinkedIn learning courses and all of that. But we'll just see what happens there. But I I I know a lot of musicians, vocalists, frontmen, band leaders who are still doing this well into their 50s, 60s. I don't know. I just don't know if that's what I want for myself. So I could probably see myself transferring to something more like back end, maybe something in either like sales or event coordination itself, because I've always had a knack for that sort of thing. This line of work, it plugs you into a network of event
Sure.
coordination, like people who just work events up, down, and all around. So there's a lot of that going on. Like some of my best friends today are wedding planners. So it's just kind of like we'll see. I don't know, but I'm
Yeah.
open to it all. I just love being in these environments, and that's the one thing I don't think I want to change. Like just the fact that I'm a part of it, you know?
Well, you have a healthy open-mindedness about it, and it seems like you've already had a journey that has you kind of preconditioned for welcoming change
Yeah.
when it feels like the right time.
You're
So,
so right, because I've had to do it, and now I know, like I know that things aren't, nothing is like absolute. Your time in your current situation or your work situation, whatever it is, it's always finite, and there's always something. Like we kind of have to be like malleable. It's life. So yeah, totally, totally, totally.
I don't know if it's really true when I was 35, but I usually say it about my 20s. I was such a jackass, like wasn't ever thinking about anything, but you sound like you're really
Thank you.
thinking ahead, and
Oh, I was an asshole at 22. I really was. I think I was just such an asshole that I got it out early.
But probably how most of us do. Well, it's especially when I read about or meet someone who's that age and they're just they're at a completely different state, like some super adult stage already, which is, I
Mm,
think is really cool. I suppose in some ways it can be tragic, but
mm.
everybody gets their yayas out at some point in their life, whether it's early or later. So,
Yes.
yeah.
No, I've lived. Don't worry. I've gotten into some good trouble, so.
Oh man, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
So if you could distill the core principle behind how you've built this into what you have, if you could distill it into one or two sentences, an
Yeah.
independent musician could actually act on, what would it be?
It's so corny. It's so corny and cheesy. But it's like love what you do. Like it is. It's like it's don't forget like your passion for just music itself. Okay? Like don't let any stigma or anything anybody else is saying about what the standard for success is, because that's imaginary. Don't let that dictate how you feel about what you're doing, about the work that you're doing. You gotta love what you do. That's so dumb and lame, and I'm sorry, but whatever. We'll crochet it and we'll put it on like put it in a freaking mantle, like in grandma's house or something. But
I
love
think
what
it,
you do.
I think it makes sense. I think it makes a lot of sense. How do you feel about the conversation?
I like you. I like this. I looked at some of your other combos and I was hoping I would feel just as like good and comfortable as they seem to be. So this is good. Yeah. I feel great.
Cool. Well, it was great talking with you.
Yeah, you too.
As an independent podcaster, your support means the world to me. You could even say I depend on it. With that in mind, here are some things you can do to help support us. Follow us on your favorite podcast app. Leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. Or shoot me a review by email, robonzo@unstarvingmusician.com, that I can use on the website. Or just share this episode with a friend. This makes a huge impact on our audience growth. You could also visit our crowd sponsor page at unstarvingmusician.com/crowd sponsor to learn of the many other ways of supporting the podcast, including a quick and easy online tip jar. It's like click, tip, done, easy, and super appreciated. You'll find many ways of showing your support there, including through our affiliate partners like Bandzoogle, Kit, Email, formerly ConvertKit, DreamHost, and others. The music you're hearing is New Gods Part 2, the instrumental mix by yours truly. You can hear the full version, download it, or buy it at robonzo.com. And if all this was too much to remember or process, just go to the show notes for this episode at unstarvingmusician.com to find links to all the stuff talked about in this episode. You can leave us feedback, questions, comments, complaints at unstarvingmusician.com/feedback. Thanks for listening. Peace, gratitude, and a whole lot of love.